Guys, tough loss. Really good things. Let's talk about it. The good, the bad, the ugly. It's the Hoops Nerd postgame show. All right, guys, before we get into this, let's just give a shout out to our sponsor, Price Picks. Price Picks will use promo code, if you use promo code HoopsNerd at PricePicks.com, if you're signing up, if you're brand new and you use that promo code, they will match up to $100. $5 down gets you $5. It's 100 free bucks to go play a game. Are you serious? Go do it. Go watch it. Get the over on the rebounds on Taylor Hendricks right now. Holy smokes, the guy is going to start rebounding like a monster. And my guess is that Price Picks hasn't caught up yet to what he's doing now that he's starting. So go to PricePicks.com and use promo code HoopsNerd. All right, let me just really quick. I forgot to share this out, so I'm going to share this really fast, and then we'll just get started talking about this game. Going live now. Join me. All right, so the Utah Jazz lose to the Charlotte Hornets, and this is not a good loss, or not a good, it's not a good loss. I said it right the first time. Utah has to be able to win some of these games if they want to convey their pick to Oklahoma City by the end of the year. And so losing to a Charlotte Hornets team that is sitting at number 4 in the draft is not great. 14-41. They've won 4 in a row, though, so maybe this is an interest. You know what? That's interesting. Charlotte has won 4 in a row. They're actually playing pretty decent basketball, at least the last 4 games. So who knows? Maybe this will look like not the worst loss ever, but the Jazz should beat this Charlotte Hornets team if they're legit. And there's some things we need to talk about that. But one of the things that's frustrating is Utah loses in a relatively close one, 115-107. It was actually closer than the final score looks. Really, it was just Grant Williams shot 6 for 11 from 3. He was shooting like 15% from 3 for the Dallas Mavericks, completely sucked with them. So, of course, he shoots lights out against the Utah Jazz. It's just kind of how it goes. Your bad players are going to play well against the Utah Jazz. No doubt. No doubt it's going to happen. Yeah. So anyways, they've got some young players. Brandon Miller, I know it's 37% from the field. This is a little bit troubling. He looks so good and he shows tons of flashes. So I think he's going to be great. He looks like he's going to be awesome. So they really hit, and he might be kind of like that Paul George type player, So congrats to all the 7 Charlotte Hornets fans out there who like the Hornets. So they got a nice one in Brandon Miller. 3 for 9 from 3. 6 for 16 from the field, and 4 steals, 5 assists for Miller. He looks legit. By the way, I can say that I lived in North Carolina, and I can tell you right now, they do not love the Hornets like they should. They should appreciate having an NBA team more than they do. By the way, can the NBA update the jersey for Trey Mann? That looks funny. He got his OKC jersey. All right, let's talk about the Utah Jazz. Utah. There's some things to talk about, and we're going to go through each player like we do because we give everyone the fair share. But this was a game where the story of the game was the starting unit changed. And, right before the game, Tony Jones put out an exciting tweet. He said that the Utah Jazz will be hearing from sources that the Utah Jazz are changing their starting lineup, and another player is going to get significant minutes. And everyone started to get on the keyboard and what are they going to do? Who's going to play? Well, everyone thought it was going to be possibly Taylor Hendricks at the power forward with Walker Kessler, and that was not the case. Will Hardy starts, Lauri Markkanen, Taylor Hendricks, and John Collins at the center with Colin Sexton and Keyonte George. And I know there's people out there that are wondering, why is Kessler not starting? Well, tonight we're going to talk about why. First off, that right there. But John Collins played pretty decently tonight. I know it's 4 for 10, so I guess we can't say too much, but look at this. 18 rebounds is a big reason why. 18 rebounds. Walker Kessler, look how many rebounds he had. Walker Kessler had 2 rebounds. And he played 17 minutes. Let's just let that sink in a little bit. Two. Two rebounds in 17 minutes for 7'1" Walker Kessler. Come on, man. Come on. Let's see. So that was the big thing. And I think basically at this point, and I've talked about this, I wrote about it on SLC Dunk. I have a video that I'm in editing that's coming out hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully. I'm going to try. Except I would like to hang out with Mrs. Hoops Nerd tonight and watch some reality TV, either The Bachelor or I would like to watch another season of Married at First Sight. Yes, I watch it. I watch all of The Bachelors, by the way. Bachelor, Bachelor in Paradise, all of it, baby. Every single bit of it. You can bet the Hoops Nerd likes him some Bachelor. I also am quite the connoisseur of Love Island. Love Island UK, although I do not enjoy Love Island Australia. But guess what? Love Island UK, much better than Love Island USA. I'm telling you right now. Just skip the first two seasons, though, because those are garbage. But season 3, Love Island UK, I have just given you guys a gift that you didn't even know. All right? So that's your gift for joining the show tonight. He himself, $2. I got a date tomorrow. I'm excited. Go Jazz. Hey, everyone in the chat, all the members, everyone give Key some love and some luck. We are all giving you all the best wishes, Key, for everything to go well for you tomorrow night. Good luck, Key. Good luck, Key. I've actually, it's funny, DWCB, I've thought about doing my own like Bachelor recap show, which I think would actually be kind of fun. I legit love me some trashy reality romance shows. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Let's go, Key, baby. Key himself, you know what? Play like Keyonte George and things will go well, Key. Go, good luck, Key. I love that you're Key and we have Keyonte George on the team too. That is pretty fun. All right. And thank you for the $2. I always appreciate the donations, guys. I really do. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see. So the big takeaway from this, and before Key, let us know that he's up for big time success tomorrow, Key, with your date tomorrow. Sorry, I'm laughing at my own joke that I didn't even say. But this is crazy town tonight. If you're watching this show, I love you. Absolutely love you. Anyways, I'm going to try to say this sentence for like the 4th time. I wrote about it in SLC Talk. And I'm talking about it in the video that no one's seen, but I've spoken the words, so I remember it, but no one else does. But the Jazz clearly want to play with a 5-out offense. That is what they want to do. And all I can go off of is literally every decision they have made. They are starting John Collins every time they have the choice. This season, it's just been the John Collins starting show. He has 100% earned the... Oh gosh, Key, I can't read that. Key himself, $2. Thanks, guys. I'm tired of, and I'm not going to finish that sentence. If you're listening to the podcast, this is why you should come to the show. Key, thank you very much. Oh boy. But anyways, where was I? Key always throws me off. Doggone it. Where was I? Oh, every opportunity the Jazz have had to run a 5-out offense, they have taken it. And by the way, this started before John Collins. Do you guys remember? Remember, do not forget. Before the season, remember that they were this close they were this close to signing, trading for, I can't remember if it was for signing or trading to get Kristaps Porzingis. And I believe it was to sign him. Instead, because the Jazz were going to get Kristaps Porzingis, remember, they do a sign and trade with Boston. Now, I could be wrong on the exact details there, but I have heard from multiple people that was a thing, and it was also a rumor that was on the internet, put out there by reputable sources. So it was out there, and it's also been kind of behind-the-scenes talk stuff, okay? What does Kristaps Porzingis do? Well, he stretches the floor, and he would have been a stretch 5. And I remember seeing those rumors, and at that time, Kristaps Porzingis was not, this. I mean, he was playing well for the Wizards. He was one of those guys that quietly showed up big time on like the stat sheets and the, just the advanced statistics and everything, and then just the raw stats. He was putting up numbers with the Wizards, but they were still losing a ton of games. And so Utah really obviously saw that. And one thing we've seen from the last 2 years, every opportunity the Jazz have had, they've done two things. They have either gone for draft picks or they have gone for distressed assets. Every single player on this Jazz team, look at this. Lauri Markkanen, he was a distressed asset with the Cavaliers. You don't believe me? Well, guess what? His contract is for like 16, 17 million next year. Non-guaranteed. Non-guaranteed. He was a distressed asset, and the Jazz turned him into an all-star. Taylor Hendricks, draft pick. John Collins, distressed asset from the Atlanta Hawks. Colin Sexton, he was injured. Distressed asset in Cleveland. Kevin Love was throwing balls at his head. He was considered a big stats losing team guy. Keyonte George, draft pick. Chris Dunn, distressed asset. He was in the G League just last year. Jordan Clarkson is the only player from the former chapter of Utah Jazz basketball, right? Walker Kessler, we got him in the trade. Draft pick. Bryce Sensabaugh, draft pick. That's what they're doing. That is what they're doing. Now, they want stretch. That's one thing we can just count on too, is this style of play. Stretch 5. That's why they were going after Kristaps. They were going after a stretch 5. And it makes me wonder, they've already traded 3 distressed assets that they picked up before, remember? Well, I guess Ochai Agbaji doesn't count, but he just hasn't really played particularly well. And I think actually it's time to start thinking about what happened with Agbaji with Walker Kessler. Right? Is that a hint at what's coming with Walker Kessler? We saw that Ochai Agbaji just kind of hit a wall and just did not advance, did not develop. He didn't. What did they do? They said, you know what? We're going to adjust before we lose any value with this player, and we're going to trade him. I think it's time to start thinking about that with Walker Kessler a little bit. He is not developed into a shooter yet. Doesn't mean he can't. But the thing that's disappointing with Walker Kessler is he's not doing the things we know he can do. At least from his rookie year, he has taken a step back, and a pretty big one. I know the advanced numbers are good. The block numbers are good. But the eye test is not very good, right? If you're watching these games, if you're not, let's say that differently. If you are not watching these games and you are only going off of the box scores, and if you're only going off of like cleaning the glass and advanced and Basketball Reference advanced stats and NBA.com advanced stats and all these places, which by the way, I do enjoy those and they're very good, but you got to use the eye test, right? Right? You can't just go off of data. You've got to watch. There's context to a lot of this. And yes, Walker Kessler is a good rim protector, flat out. But there's some things tonight that just showed that he is deficient in, and he's got to get better. And, Gabriel, I tweeted about this too. The Jazz are learning just as much about Lauri Markkanen as they are about Keon Taylor. Exactly. Honestly, great minds, Gabriel. Like, the Jazz, and I legit tweeted that same thing. That's amazing. This last part of the season, we are going to see what we got. And we heard it from, I always forget his name. Smith is his last name, the color commentator tonight. They were talking about how the Jazz are trying to see what they got in Taylor Hendricks and in Keyonte George and in Bryce Sensabaugh. But guess what? Like Gabriel said, not just them. They are seeing what they got in Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen as well. He does not have a max yet, and Danny Ainge is not one to just go throw him out around money just because, if he would much rather use his cap space efficiently than not. It kind of goes back to the Ryan Russillo Ainge rule. There's a rule out there he calls the Ainge rule. And what it is it's just cap space is overrated. And what Danny Ainge likes to do is use his cap space in trades. You know, he would much rather go for either the draft pick or the known commodity than just trying to go get a guy with cap space. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Dirty Jazz Car Wash Channel 199. My man, thank you so much. Jazz losing streak continues. Yes, it is now at 5. Right now, the Jazz sitting at still a game above the Atlanta Hawks. 2-8 in their last 10. Holy smokes. That is one of the worst in the league right now. So, except for Washington, who's trying to give us their pick, baby. Keep on losing, Washington. Improve that second round pick, baby. Yes. But anyways, Lauri Markkanen has been bad for 4 games now. In fact, let's just go look at it. Lauri Markkanen. Oh, man, those ads sometimes, dude. Let's see. Lauri Markkanen, in his last 5. So here's his last 5. This does not have tonight's game in it, where it was not super impressive. Let's see. Look at this. 4 for 11 from 3. 2 for 7 from 3. 3 for 7 is pretty good, but look at this. 2 for 6. These last 4 is just not a great trend. I mean, this game against Golden State was actually good. But, 4 of the last 5 games, he's not been great. Tonight's game, look at this. 5 for 14 from the field, 35%, 22% from 3. And that's after All-Star break. And, I get it. He's probably tired. But you got the break, man. And you know what else is a little troubling? This is a little troubling. Look at, let's go here. And this is something I'm paying attention to. I believe this is the most games he's played in a season in his career. If you don't remember, he had a lot of injury issues with the Bulls and with Cleveland. Oh, look, he played 68 in his rookie season with Chicago. There you go. So, never mind. Let's see, 47 for Utah. So, we'll see how he goes. We still got a good amount of games to play. But I don't know if he's even going to hit his, I don't know. I guess maybe this is just a dumb point. More than likely dumb. But anyways, the most he's played is 68. But outside of that rookie year, he has not played more than 66 games. He played 66 for Utah last year. He would have beaten this 68 because they rested him. They tanked. And but then, you know what? We'll see what they do for the rest of the year. So maybe that was just a dumb point and a waste of your time. I'm sorry. But anyways, these last 4 or 5 games have been frustrating because I tell you what, you would hope that Lauri Markkanen would outshoot Grant freaking Williams, right? If you're building, I mean, anyone who tells me they're building around Lauri Markkanen, well, can he please shoot better than Grant Williams? The guy who got traded from Dallas, they had to give up a first-round pick to move him to get some of the players that, to get PJ Washington. I mean, come on. It's just, it's frustrating to me that he's going 2 for 9 in this game. The Jazz needed him to hit some threes tonight, and a lot of these were wide open. I don't want to hear they're too tough. He's getting set up for some pretty good looks here and there. And to hit 22% from 3 again, and 5 for 14 from the field, a little troubling. 9 for 10 from the free throw line. The one thing we do got to give him credit, 6 assists. That is really nice to see. He's moving the ball. So that is one nice thing for Lauri Markkanen. That's going better. All right, by the way, one other small interesting thing. Look at the plus minus tonight. Minus 11 for Markkanen, minus 12 for Chris Dunn, minus 19 for Jordan Clarkson, and minus 18 for Walker Kessler. Really, really a struggle for those guys tonight. I mean, Chris Dunn, I tend to not give him, I think he was probably someone I wouldn't really close in, but the shooting with Markkanen, and by the way, when the game was on the line, they put Miles Bridges out there, and he went right into Markkanen's chest and scored. At some point, we've got to discuss the fact that Markkanen, not that good of a defender, right? He's kind of an average defender, but honestly, average. He's got some pretty good rim protection numbers for his position, but outside of that, man, sometimes, and he is a good rebounder. You got to give Markkanen credit. He is a good rebounder, but he really kind of has to play the 4. He really kind of has to play the 4 because he is not the greatest ball handler. He's not dominating some of those threes in the league. I mean, even tonight, he could not really get anything done against Grant Williams and Miles Bridges. And so 5 for 14 from the field. And so the Jazz have some interesting things to decide this offseason. You know, are they going to trade Markkanen? Because man, that sounds like they could get quite the trade going. I bet you there is a trade out there this offseason if they want it. Now, I don't know if they're going to do it, but it's out there if they want it. 5 for 14. So it's tough to see. Doesn't mean he can't get better. And I think this is why I thought the Jazz could still play pretty well for the rest of the season, but I expected Lauri Markkanen to be better. For the last 5, he has not been very, at least up to his standard, you know, and that's really the definition of a star is, do you do this night in and night out on, it's, what is it, Thursday night against the Charlotte Hornets, game 60, whatever. Are you putting up a dud or are you dunking on Miles Bridges, you know? And it was kind of a dud tonight. And that's not all-star play. I tell you that. So anyways, I just want to see more from Lauri Markkanen. We've seen him play great. I miss the days where we were getting, multiple 30-point games from Markkanen. We haven't had one in a while. I want another one. Another one. Key himself, $2 again. Thank you, my man. Save this money for the date tomorrow. Go buy a nice dinner, man. Draft Zach Edey with the LA pick. Trade Walker. I mean, maybe. Okay, actually, and then I'll get to you, Jordan the GOAT, my man. Thank you so much for the donation. I had a Grizzlies guy. He writes for Grizzly Bear Blues. I think SB Nation ended that, which sucks because they do a great job at Grizzly Bear Blues. They cover the Memphis Grizzlies. And he sent me a message. My buddy sent me a message and said, hey, would you take the number 4 pick and like Zaire Williams and give us Walker Kessler in the number 10? And at the time I was like, well, maybe, but Danny might not want to give the 10. I tell you what, would you tell me? Let's see. Let's just do a draft. Let me know in the comments, I guess. Would you take the number 4 pick in this draft? Let's say the Jazz convey the pick to Oklahoma City and then you trade Walker Kessler for like the number 4, if that's where the Grizzlies end up, which is certainly seeming possible. Would you do it? Would you do it? Maybe. I think the Jazz might, considering everything we've seen. They keep playing these 5-out offenses, and nights like tonight are not encouraging for Mr. Kessler. I'll tell you what. Jordan the GOAT Best Roll, 199. Thank you so much. And I think Jordan is talking about that exact thing. And Walker plays soft. Dunk the dang ball. Agreed. That play where he went up and got blocked on a layup, it's like, can you go watch some film of Shaq? And I get it. Walker Kessler is not going to be Shaquille O'Neal. But when you are near the basket, you need to do the Shaquille O'Neal dunk. Okay? And we all know it. I want you hanging on the rim. I want your feet in the air. I want your mouth open, screaming obscenities at your opponent that you just dunked on. That is what I want to see. I want to see violence. Let there be blood. Let there be blood on the court. Okay? Dunk the ball. You're 7 feet tall. Us little people want to see you, one of the giants, use your gifts and talents and dunk the ball for us. For me, of the Shire. I live in a hole. I walk through a circle door. I get complained at by the old people. I want you to dunk the ball. The Daikini, baby. The Daikini does not dunk the ball. For us, the Elwins of Willow and the Daikini will not dunk the ball, said the Elwin to the other Elwin. Why will he not? Someone get Mad Mardigan and tell him to dunk the ball. Frig. Let's see. Am I missing any? I'm missing super chats. I hope not. If I'm not, let me know. Sorry. KG10 to TH5. Key has lots of cap space for his date. Be himself. Key, we're all rooting for you, man. We are all rooting for you. When you are on that date, just know, all dozens of us are rooting for you to do well on this date. Remember, they're lucky to be with you, man. Look at yourself in the mirror. Here's just some dating advice. Look at yourself in the mirror before you go on the date. And this is corny, but it works. Do it. Look at yourself in the eyes and say, I'm great. This is going to be fun. I don't care what happens. This is going to be a good date. I'm going to make sure this is fun. And this person is lucky to go out with me because doggone it, I'm nice, I'm smart, I'm freaking funny because I'm Key, and I'm probably really handsome. You are handsome. I don't even have to see your face, Key. Dirty Jazz Car Wash Channel 199. The Jazz are tanking the rest of the season. They might be. They might be. I thought they would win more of these games. I thought they would. I did not expect Lauri Markkanen to shoot 35% from the field. I can tell you that. Now, some of that is a difficult thing because you have 5-out offenses and different lineups happening, and it's hard to play with different lineups But you're NBA players. You should be able to score. Do you think it really matters who's around Kawhi Leonard? He's going to get his buckets the way he does. By the way, that is one other thing I want to put out. Oh my gosh, Tyson Price, thank you so much. Price is right, my man. Let me get to your comment in just a second. I have had to listen to a lot of people for like the last 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 years. There is always this argument with Jazz fans and Jazz Twitter and all this. But anyways, oh man, Key, I think you're my favorite. I'm not sure. You might be my favorite person in the world. Anyways, Key, all right, I got to get to these comments. There's so many. Key himself, I'm chocolate, but when the heat is felt, I don't melt. That's amazing. I love it. But anyways, and that we will get to everything. We will. The last like 7 years, there's always like a Jazz star that I have to go on Twitter and hear that so-and-so needs the ball more. Remember, that was always the argument with Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert needs the ball. Get Rudy Gobert the ball. He doesn't get the ball enough. If you look at his box score and what his percentage is, he doesn't get the ball enough. Well, guess what? You gave him the ball, and what happened? He'd lose it. Or he'd get it turned over, or he'd do some awkward, weird hook shot, and it wouldn't go in. It's not to say Rudy Gobert isn't awesome. I love Rudy Gobert. I have every single Rudy Gobert toy and poster and, autograph and everything. I love Rudy Gobert. But he couldn't do anything on offense outside of roll to the rim as a pick and roll big, Well, guess what? We see these same arguments with Lauri Markkanen. Get him the ball. He doesn't get the ball enough. Oh, the Jazz went 5 minutes and he didn't get the ball. How is he not getting the ball? Get him the ball, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? They got him the ball multiple times tonight. He cannot score in isolation, and teams are scouting him. If he's not getting the ball, chances are it's because the other team is working very hard not to let him get it. And so that's why this is frustrating right here, is when he does get those open shots and does not make them. Okay? He has got to knock that down. He has to be that player that when he is open, it's going in. Flat out. For him to be, like the way everyone talks about him, it's got to be better than this, especially against the freaking Charlotte Hornets. Tyson Price, the price is right. My man, $4.99. You're incredible. Thank you so much. And one of the all-stars, absolute stud and legend. Let's see. One of these days, I want to sit on the front row of a Utah Jazz basketball game near center court. Go Utah Jazz. Win the championship. We are. At some point, I actually truly believe it with the way things are going with the Jazz. I actually think that's going to happen. And you know what, Tyson? Save your monies because it's worth it. I will say this. I've only sat courtside once, and it was for one of those draft parties that the Jazz do, where you get in line and it's free to go and whatnot, and you get to watch the Jazz scrimmage. I did that. I got to courtside. I basically pulled a George Costanza because I got there like 6 hours early. I sat in line and I was there, and it was kind of cold. And it was when Alec Burks and Gordon Hayward were, I think Alec Burks was a rookie. Anyways, I waited in line, and then I got stuck behind some big old lady, and she was like holding both rails as she walked down the stairs like 1 miles per hour, and I 100%. I said, "Lady, I've been here 6 hours," and I pushed her arm out of the way, and I went down the stairs, and I got that courtside seat. And then the thing I learned from that, besides that I'm a terrible person, besides the fact that I'm horrible, is that it's sometimes kind of weird. Like, I made eye contact with Alec Burks multiple times, and you're like, I don't know where to look. And maybe that's just me because I'm a crazy person, but that was my experience with it. Key himself, $2. I'm chocolate, but when the heat is felt, I don't melt. I love it. Incredible. Nothing good in danger. First super on a live stream, man. Well, thank you. Nothing good. Nothing good. I'm danger. You know what? We're calling you nothing good, my man. Walker's pregame abductor stretch, not a good look. Yeah, he might be hurt too. Maybe that's all this is an injury. Could be. Walker Kessler, Texas stretcher. Let's see here. Jose, welcome to the channel, my man. Had to just let you know I'm rooting for you, Key. Oh my gosh. Jose joins just to support Key himself. I feel the love tonight. Nothing good. Another 199, my man. All right, question. Is Keyonte our Steph and JC equals Monte Ellis? Well, JC, actually, that's probably a pretty good comparison for JC is Monte Ellis. I guess never say never, but I don't think Keyonte is going to be the best shooter of all time. But I see what you're saying. Like, is he kind of the guy that supplants? And I think the answer is yes. Now, I don't think Keyonte is going to be better than or as good as Steph, obviously. And I don't think you think that either. But maybe you do. I don't know. It's totally fine. If you do, I just don't know if he'll be that great. But you never say never. But I do think that he is special. And we saw that tonight. In fact, let's just look at the stats. 50% from the field. By the way, he started the game 0-4-4, over 4, and then ends up going 50% from the field. That means he went 70% from the field the rest of the game after that start. By the way, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, a +7 in a Jazz loss. Pretty good. Pretty good. Key himself. She was a meatballs with another $2 from Key. She was a meatball with candles and limbs. I don't know what. If I have said something horrible that I don't understand. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Anyways, let's keep going. So that was the thing. The Jazz, let's just be honest here. The Jazz are going 5 out, and maybe nothing good like what you're talking about with the abductor. Walker, Kessler, Texas stretcher. That's pretty good. Maybe he's injured, but he has not been super impressive physically in the games. Not been super physical. And maybe he is injured. I don't know. It could be. That would explain the the setbacks. But he's got to be better. And he's not a stretch 5. And if the Jazz really love this stretch 5 so much, then they might be trading him this offseason. And if it gets them the number 4 pick in this draft, they're good players in this draft. They're not superstars, but they're definitely players that you could build a team around. Well, not build a team around, but you could plug into potentially be rotation NBA players. And if Walker Kessler's playing like this, he's a backup center. I think he's starter center potential, and I think that's why there's a lot of teams out there that would love to get him. But he's got to play with more oomph, more juice, baby. You just need it. All right, let's see. Taylor Hendricks. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. He was a +10 in this game. For the lead in plus minus, tied with John Collins. This Taylor Hendricks, John Collins front court. Did I get it right? I always mix them up. Front court, back court. The bigs. Taylor Hendricks and John Collins Maybe it's backcourt. I can't remember. I think it's front court. I always mix it up. I talk about basketball my whole life, and I still get it mixed up. Taylor Hendricks, 5 for 9 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. The crazy thing is this is going to get better. This is going to get better. 1 for 1 from the free throw line when he got his and one. But 9 rebounds in 25 minutes. That means per 36, what is he at? Like 13? You know? Front court equals down low. That's what I thought. So this front court's pretty interesting. They're able to get the defense from Taylor Hendricks. John Collins is, as center, I don't think he's probably he's not a great defender, but he's also not horrible, But then you combine that with Taylor Hendricks, and all of a sudden it's pretty interesting. They were both a plus 10, pretty interesting. The tough thing for this is it puts Lauri Markkanen at the small forward, and he just wasn't very good. A lot of what Lauri Markkanen can do is take advantage of that power forward, but putting Hendricks at the power forward is pretty interesting. And I think one thing we did see, the rebounding from Taylor Hendricks is really impressive. I mean, it's really impressive. His ability to go up and get that ball in traffic is really good. It's really good. And so 12 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist. He's a plus 10. That's all defense right there. Freaking great. Freaking great. So anyways, Lars Jarvinen, 199. Thank you so much, Lars. Win or lose, love me some hoops, nerd. Lars, the real deal, Lars. I love it. And you know what, man? I'm really rooting for Lauri to figure things out. I know you are a big fan. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, though. Let's see. So, I want to see. I do think the Jazz are going to re-sign Markkanen this offseason, but it might get interesting. We'll see. All right, let's see. John Collins, we talked about him a little bit already. This is what is really great. 18 rebounds. I mean, this is crazy, actually. 18 rebounds in 30 minutes. That's big boy stuff. 9 points. He hit the 1-3 tonight, which was nice to see. Only 40% from the field. I don't know. This right here is a big deal because you look at this, 20 rebounds between him and Walker Kessler, but 18 come from John Collins. It's just got to be better from Kessler. It just has to be. It really does. Thank you so much, Lars. I really appreciate it. That is super generous of you. Colin Sexton, 3 for 10 from the field. He had a good start to the game and then just really kind of fell off. What's interesting is he was a plus 2 and he gets those 10 free throws, which is nice to see, him and Markkanen. But what was interesting is when he was in the starting unit with this spread 5, you could tell it really did well for him. He was able to get to the basket through those lanes, but it's just disappointing that he couldn't shoot the ball. I mean, he shot the ball worse than Markkanen tonight, although he did hit his threes at least. Also 5 assists for Colin Sexton. So interesting night for him. I think this 5 out really helps him, and also Keyonte George in some ways. But Keyonte also does pretty well with a big like Kessler setting picks and running a pick and roll. Keyonte George is so multi-talented. He really is. He can run any offense. He can run any play. He can score in every single way. That's what's crazy. He is a 3-level scorer, completely legit. 3-point line, mid-range, going to the basket. He is a great passer. I know he had some turnovers tonight. It wasn't his best turnover night. In fact, what was he? Yeah, tough night for turnovers for Key. He's been averaging 1.8 in his last 10 or so. And so this was a bad turnover night for him, for sure. But this is not the norm. He is a great passer. And, this might be just new lineup, figuring things out. But anyways, he can do everything. And it's really going to be exciting to see what he does as he just continues to get better. Because guess what? He's going to get better. And if all he does is just improve as a shooter, then that's incredible. That's really incredible. Art Vandalay, do you see Lauri as a small forward or power forward? He's power forward pretty much. With his skill set. Although I think he can play some 3. I think he can. He doesn't look completely healthy to me. I don't know if his body is wearing down a little bit. I'm not sure. It's been tough to see. Jordan Clarkson tonight was a minus 19. He was not good. He did have how many assists? He's been assisting the ball tonight, 4 assists and 8 rebounds, but he was just not very good tonight. And I know a lot of people were mad at Will Hardy and they're probably right. To be honest, probably right. Jordan Clarkson probably shouldn't have been playing the last 16 minutes. 5 for 13 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3, 15 points. I think a lot of times Hardy probably plays him because he's a player you can trust to have on the floor at certain times to not be afraid and take big shots and things, but they weren't going in tonight. And sometimes it's Clarkson giveth, and sometimes it's Clarkson taketh away, and he was absolutely part of the reason the Jazz lost tonight. 0 for 4 from 3 really hurts. He's shooting sub 30% from 3 for the season, by the way. Really tough. Jordan Clarkson had a bad night. Walker Kessler had a bad night. Lauri Markkanen had a bad night. And it's tough to overcome that. 1 for 4 from the field for Walker Kessler is crazy to me. 2 points. These minutes from Walker Kessler were bad too. They were just not very good. And part of it was that the Hornets were just knocking down threes, but man, he just did not dominate inside like you want. And it's just been too many times where we've seen this, too much. Too much. So the Jazz still looking for a great small forward. It's been 84 years. Yes, it is the meme, and I think his name's Cooper Flagg. I've been trying to tell people, and lots of people want to say lots of things to me on the Twitter sphere. And I'm saving them in the petty file because I think the tank might be coming next year pretty hard, and we shall see. And just actually, I'm not even gonna go there. Bryce Sensabaugh was the other surprise tonight. Look at this: 3 for 6 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. He had 7 points. But the thing that was really great to see. He played defense. He played hard. And Bryce Sensabaugh has size. Like, if you look at just his size, he's 6'5". But he almost looks a little bigger to me. And he's big. He's got some girth. So it's nice to see, and he moves pretty well. And so if he can just start getting these minutes, it's so much nicer to watch Bryce Sensabaugh get 12 minutes than THT get those minutes. It's really much nicer to see. It's more fun, and let him make some mistakes. I'm fine with it. But you know what? Tonight wasn't too bad. I mean, he had like 1 turnover. There were a few plays where you're like, not too great. But, going 50% from the field, 7 points in your first real actual NBA minutes, pretty good. This was not garbage time. This was legit minutes, and he played pretty well. So, and guess what? The Hornets have won 4 in a row. They're playing pretty well right now. So, pretty nice to see. I think that's everything, guys. I think it's been just a fun night tonight talking to you guys. Key, I am rooting for you for tomorrow night to have a really successful day. Let's see. Let's pull this over here and let's go. Let's see. Sorry, I am just absolutely. I'm going slow now. Holy smokes, what's wrong with me? Let's see here. No way. Well, let's see. Crud, this might be a second, guys. Oh, boy. There we go. Blah. I almost didn't find it. The music. All right. Let's give a shout out to our All-Stars tonight. Absolute, just amazing group of guys and girls. Let's see. Let's just reload this. Make sure we got everyone. And then I'm going to go watch some reality TV with Mrs. Hoopner. All right. Let's give a shout out to The Real Deal, Lars Jarvin and Ryan Perry, the legend, Just Buckets JB, Baby Elliott Matson, Christian House Money the Haas, The Outlaw Jesse James Nelson, Asikale Raisibe, the man from down under, See ya, Alexa Later, Built Ford Tough, Alexander Tufts, Jorge Arrizaga, mi amigo de abajo, Jordan the Goat Best Roll, TGD, Total Game Domination, Tyson Price, The Price is Right, Austin our Grant, Editor Extraordinaire, KG10 to TH5, DW to CB, Patrick Kubo, the Connoisseur, and Robert Hall of Fame. Guys, if you are a Utah Jazz fan and you have not subscribed to this channel yet, then subscribe right this moment. Do it right now. Do it. And hit the bell so you know when we go live. Hit the bell, baby. Ding, 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 ding. All right, guys, I will talk to you next time.